Hey folks, Vince the Evil Dungeon Master here. I was sitting around today looking through some of my Palladium books, and one thing that struck me, and maybe it needs a little bit of work, maybe some house rules or something, is the Palladium horror factor and how it works. I like the idea of that, but I don't think it really gives you what you need as far as for horror factor. Now, you roll your horror factor, say you succeed, nothing really happens, but let's say you fail, you lose one of your attacks and you back up. That's pretty much it. I think there should be a little bit more. There should be more involved with the whole horror factor, like a creature, especially if it's a big bad creature, like an old one or something, or maybe even the big bad of your campaign, and they have a horror factor of, let's just say, 10. A lot of pretty much, on a D20, the players will succeed on that, and there goes the whole big bad woo thing. So I was looking through some of my notes about a horror factor, and I was deciding that maybe you should give the big bad some type of reputation bonus. What I mean by reputation bonus is that, especially if it's a big, bad, nasty creature, there's going to be stories about this creature and how it horrified people. And, when you go into any game and talk about creatures and things like that, there's always a history behind those creatures. And or like you talk about ghosts in real life, and then people go visit these ghost places, and you kind of get scared because you're wondering, is this ghost really going to do this? Is it real? Is it not real? Obviously it's not real, but uh the reputation should give it some bonuses, so it's harder for you to get that number. So if it's a horror factor of an 11, but he's a boss, or maybe he has a whole reputation in your campaign, maybe that number should be pushed up based on things that have happened in the campaign, especially if you're going to base an entire campaign on this one creature or creatures, and you have normal humans in the party. I just think that a failure, for one, should give you a little bit more than losing an attack. It should give you, excuse me, it's early in the morning. It should give you negatives to your abilities. Like, maybe if you fail, uh, say the horror factor is an 11 or a 12, and you fail by 6, you should, for that melee, be scared shitless at a -6 on everything you do. Maybe I'm just throwing numbers out here. We've got to flesh it out a little bit more, but it's something I was thinking about. And reputation bonus should also give bonuses as far as when they are rolling for the first time meeting this creature. Yeah, the horror factor is 11, but that doesn't seem as powerful as you built him up to be in this campaign. So you might have to add a little bit more to that. Maybe it becomes a horror factor 15 for the first time because you've built this creature up, you've built up this horror element in the game, and it's you need to add to it because otherwise, the players will just walk into it and be like, "Yeah, I roll. Oh, I passed. Oh, I go kick the creature's ass." I think that's a little bit boring, and it should be some type of little house rule on there just to do with it. I know there was a rifter that talked about all this from a while back. I think in the early 2000s. I need to pull it out. I have a bunch of rifters I was going through, and I was trying to find it again. I think it was Rifter 48, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I think that was where the rules were. They were talking a little about adding to it, and classes would get certain bonuses because they're used to it. Now, obviously, a monster hunter type class that you're playing, for example, that deals with the supernatural, deals with the the horrors of daily things, would get some type of bonus because they're used to it. But unless they're starting at level 1, you're brand new, just getting into things, dipping your toe in, you'd still have that horror factor bonuses or negatives. But a lot of fantasy. I remember the article talking about fantasy character classes having bonuses because they're used to the daily adventure of having, fighting skeletons or fighting zombies or things like that. They would have a little bit of a bonus because they know they can defeat the monster itself. But it was just something to chew on and think about this today, and Tell me what you think in the comments about the horror factor, how you've changed it in your games. I'm thinking just when you fail, you would get a negative by that much you failed. Obviously, maximum up to maybe 6, 7 the most. Because say you roll a 1, that would give you, wow, the horror factor is a 15, you've negative 14. It's a little unfair. I would say negative 6 is the most, and that's probably where I would just cap it. But tell me what you think. Would you use that? Would you do that? Or what do you think would be the best thing to do for horror factors? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, do all that, click the bell. And you can also join this channel if you click the join button for 99 cents. And you get videos ahead of time of everybody else before. It's a new feature here on YouTube that allows members of the channel to get videos ahead of time before anybody else. And it helps support the channel, helps you buy new books, things like that. Or you can go to ko-fi.com/theevildm and you can make a quick donation there if you like as well. With that said, I'm going to head out. Hope you've got some good ideas for me to throw it in the comments below. I really like to read comments. It's really interesting what some people have to say. So keep it original, keep it old school, and God bless and good night, everybody.
Don't ever laugh as the hearse goes by, for you may be the next to die. They wrap you up in a big white sheet, from your head down to your feet. They put